Once upon a time, in the far reaches of the ancient world, there existed a land where gods and monsters walked among mortals. In this land, amidst the crashing waves and rocky shores, there dwelled three sisters known as the Gorgons, Stheno, Euryale, and their youngest sister, Medusa. The Gorgon sisters lived on the island of Sarpedon. They were born from sea gods, Phorcys and Stheno, but no one knew much about where they really came from. Medusa, the youngest sister, was incredibly beautiful. Her hair was like golden sunshine, and her laugh was as lovely as the songs of sea creatures. Stheno and Euryale, her older sisters, weren't as pretty as Medusa, but they were very strong and smart. They all stuck together, exploring the shores of Sarpedon and staying as close as the ocean waves. Medusa had a best friend named Ificlis. They were inseparable, always giggling and chatting under the sunny sky. When they were young, Ificlis started to feel something special for Medusa because of her beauty. But Medusa had a big dream. She wanted to become a priestess in Athena's temple. To do that, she had to stay pure like the goddess herself. So, sadly, she turned down Ificlis and focused on preparing herself to become a priestess. As Medusa grew older, she achieved her dream of becoming a priestess in Athena's temple. But being a priestess meant following strict rules, which wasn't always easy. Still, Medusa loved her role and did everything she could to please the goddess. As word spread about the temple's beautiful priestess, more and more people came to see Medusa. Even Athena noticed that people were coming not just to worship her, but to admire Medusa's beauty. It made the goddess uncomfortable, but she was wise enough to understand it wasn't Medusa's fault. Even though Athena wasn't happy about it, she decided not to punish Medusa. She understood that sometimes things happen beyond our control. So, Medusa continued her duties as a priestess, spreading joy and beauty to all who visited Athena's temple. On the other hand, there was an old rivalry between Athena, the wise goddess, and Poseidon, the mighty sea god. They once fought a great battle to claim the city of Athens. Athena emerged victorious, and the city was named in her honor. Poseidon didn't take his defeat lightly. He nursed a grudge against Athena, waiting for a chance to get back at her. He couldn't forget the loss and wanted revenge, but in the world of gods and goddesses, even old rivalries can simmer quietly for ages, waiting for the right moment to boil over. And so, Poseidon bided his time, plotting his revenge against Athena. As the days went by, Medusa's beauty grew more and more radiant, catching the attention of the gods on Mount Olympus. Poseidon, noticing her beauty, saw it as the perfect chance to seek revenge on Athena. One day, Poseidon appeared before Medusa, showing off his powerful and handsome form. He expressed his desire to have her as his own. Medusa was enchanted by Poseidon's beauty, but she remembered her vow to remain pure and refused him. Poseidon's pride was wounded by Medusa's rejection. He became furious and decided to take her by force. He tried to overpower her, but Medusa resisted with all her strength. In fear and desperation, she fled to the temple of Athena, seeking refuge and protection from the goddess. As Medusa hid behind the statue of Athena, trembling with fear, she prayed to the goddess for protection. But, unfortunately, Athena remained silent. Meanwhile, Poseidon's heavy footsteps echoed closer and closer, filled with desire in his eyes. Medusa's heart pounded with fright as she prayed harder than ever for someone to come to her aid. Suddenly, Poseidon discovered Medusa cowering behind the statue. He grabbed her hand tightly, his intentions clear. Medusa felt a wave of terror wash over her as Poseidon's grip tightened, and she knew she was in grave danger. After Poseidon achieved his dark purpose, he left the temple with a satisfied grin, feeling his revenge had gone even better than planned. Meanwhile, inside the temple, Medusa was in shock. She felt too weak to even move, overwhelmed by shame and disgrace. She felt utterly devastated and disgraced by what had happened. Just then, Athena appeared before Medusa. Hoping for comfort, Medusa looked to the goddess. But instead of kindness, Athena was furious. She blamed Medusa for ruining the purity of her temple and cursed her in her anger. Filled with righteous fury, Athena cursed Medusa, turning her once golden locks into writhing serpents and giving her eyes the power to turn anyone who gazed upon her into stone. From that day forth, Medusa was transformed into a monstrous creature, feared and shunned by all who crossed her path. She roamed the land alone, her heart heavy with sorrow and regret for the fate that had befallen her. And so, cursed by Athena's wrath, Medusa lived out her days as a solitary figure, forever haunted by the memory of the temple's betrayal and the loss of her once golden beauty. Yet, amidst the darkness of her curse, there lingered a glimmer of hope, a hope that one day, she might find redemption and peace, and that the sting of Athena's curse would be lifted, allowing her to return to the world as the maiden she once was. Until that day came, Medusa wandered the earth, a cautionary reminder of the dangers of divine retribution and the enduring power of forgiveness.